Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's jump into it. So, going back to the original live stream format. So, hopefully that's better, and it is broadcasting in 1080p. So, if you've got any issues, it's on your end, not mine. All right, let's go into your guys' questions. I got a bunch of questions tonight, and I hope everyone is doing okay. So the first one is BBAI. BBAI is very erratic. This one took me the longest to take a look at so far. It has probably the most complicated connector. Of course, I never recommend trade in this erratic area because of this type of structure. So this is my best attempt to make sense of the madness in here, using the RSI to guide us. As you can see, you have bullish divergence here, so that's what makes it really complicated. That bullish divergence with a higher high here, taking out this high without the extension, without taking out this peak on the top of this price, indicates to me more upside is coming at some point. And so, but we can't go much further down. So I think something like this is what I'll go with for now. Okay. So I'm going to go with this chart, and then we would make a quick little drop to make 5 to make it a complete sequence, and then go the worst case scenario. It's a 1-2-1-2, and it's a crash. And I was wrong, and we are in the higher degree X, and then this becomes a much more elaborate X wave. And these can take on so many shapes, so many different combinations. That's why we never trade those structures typically in this area. But if this plays out, this is what you would expect. And then when you would top here, it would be a massive correction, a massive in time, maybe a year and a half of downside to correct the entire pump from the beginning. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in BBAI right now. So if you really wanted to speculate in it, it would drop somewhere down at $4 in this area. That would be the area to dip your toe in and try to play this pump you may or may not get. RGTI is a quantum stock, and now this one has already moved up 3 waves here, and it's way off its high here. So again, 1, 2, but you only have 3. This is very deep, right? It's very deep. So we have to think it's moving in 3 waves, or it's never going to come back to these highs. So I think we'll just kind of go with it's moving in a 3-wave sequence off these highs. And that means we'll get 3 waves down, 3 big waves down. And the first wave is probably finished. So now you're bouncing, right? There was a connector, your buy area was at 2068, you bounced pretty much right on it. So now you're in the connector, right? You would expect this bounce to fail at some point and make one more low. Where does it fail is kind of the $1 million question in the market, especially in quantum. If it fails here, then this thing's going to be lights out. This thing's going to be lights out. It's going to go all the way back down here. And it can. It can do that. But while it chops around in the connector, if it goes higher, it will lift the target higher. Okay. The reason we don't think this is the bottom is the URA does not show lower lows. It does not show the bottom. And that's the sector king, right? I'm sorry, not your wrong sector. The qubits, and the other stock is I'm thinking of is I have to go to it real quick. In the quantum group. IONQ. So qubits and IONQ to me don't look like they've bottomed. So I think this is likely to make another swing lower with the market. if it doesn't, then if this is the bottom and we're going to take a whole nother leg higher, that means the market in the April cycle has ended and we're going to get a super pump. There is no bear case at this point. It means the market's going to surge higher and every bear is wrong. It means, if that is bottom, that means the triple Qs have bottomed and we've already 4 is done and we're going in 5 or 1 2 1 2 and it's mooning. It means the SPY is extending. It means the Dow Jones is extending. Okay, that's what that means. So since that's not the primary forecast on the indices, I think my live stream disconnected. I think that's why my live stream disconnected. So this is where it is. So if I think my live stream disconnected, we have storms here, so I'm not sure if the internet is as stable as it should be, but we'll just let this play out. But anyway, that's what this is. Qubits, the same thing. Either it's a major low and we got a super pump coming. I mean a super pump. Or it needs another leg lower. I'm willing to bet another leg lower. Now, one idea we need to consider with qubits is it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get 5. Okay? Because to produce the same amount of selling to just go straight down is unusual after such a big decline. Normally we would consolidate more. So I do think if we do make a quick low, I would look for a 5, and then I would think it would do something more complicated and go lower later, something like that. Going back to Rigetti, we can even apply the same idea here. Right, we could apply the same idea here. Make another low. That means it would have to drop from now, right now, and then it would bounce in A, and then you get B and you get C later, right? Something like that. So that's another path, right? So it's a tough environment to trade at the moment. Now, if we see an impulse off of either of these off the low, then of course that kind of takes that snare off the table, but it's too early to tell. So I think right now you just have to, I think we'll get another leg lower at some point, but clearly the cycle ended. I mean, for elite members, we saw like the day of the site where we said, okay, the cycle needed to correct and needs to bounce. We were saying, hey, if this hasn't corrected yet, perhaps the indices have more upside left in it to fill that gap in technology up to higher levels. And that's exactly what happened. But now, does it have any more juice left? Is it going to do a 5 and make another move higher? And then you have your indices do this, right? Then your indices do this on the shorter time frame, right? And then they do this. They come down, qubits and all those pump stocks make a 5, and then it comes back up again and does that. And then they rally in the B wave, and then boom, then everything's in sync for another leg lower. It trapped enough buyers again. So that's another idea. So there's a lot happening in this middle area, and I would rather collect more data than trade in this area at the moment. There was an opportunity to be really speculative to buy it down here when we saw the cycle end. Very speculative, but that's over. That move is over. So now you're at the mercy of the market, and it's kind of gambling, in my opinion, what to do here. Like it's a 50-50 shot at what comes next, and I'm willing to bet downside. I wouldn't bet on this. I think if someone had to put a gun to my head and said you better take a position, I would probably be looking for something like this, right? And then another rally, right? That's what I'm think. So this is probably what I'll go with, my most likely view on both of these quantum stocks, guys. Okay. And I assume live stream's okay. Maybe someone in the chat can just confirm everything's good and it sounds good. Again, I think it glitched out for some reason. All right, UEC, rallying from the box. Now that 4 is in. We have to assume the 4 is in. URA, now going to the URA, does show potentially It could go a little higher. The URA, that could take this to here, although this does trade with the rare earth sector as well. But if URA goes down, this could do a double on 4 as well, or make it another 1-2 or some other count. So I think my primary view is this, and then we top in another 3, and then get a bigger 4. Right? We can't rule out the 1-2-1-2 extensions, of course. If you look back, this is coming out of a 20-plus year cup and handle. So I think this has years of gains ahead of it, years. But a lot of traders won't be able to enjoy those gains because they'll try to time the market and be cute and I'm going to get in and get out, and they'll just totally miss the big move. I think it's years of gains, but I do think, you know, perhaps things need to cool down and people need to lose interest in it again, and then maybe you can get the big run. That's what these charts are saying. That's what silver's saying. That's what the metals are starting to say. Things need to cool down a little bit. I think silver is very bullish, overbought. Sentiment is extreme levels, extremely high levels. It seems like, you know, it needs to cool down a little. And this type of count here would allow that to happen before, and then people will naturally lose interest as it goes really nowhere for a while, right? It just kind of goes nowhere for, you know, a period of time. But that's the primary forecast. But I think I think it goes higher in the long term. Okay, DLAKY is kind of a strange stock. I think we're still forecasting more downside. We have a lower low here. We have a beautiful 3-wave move, no divergence. You have a 5-wave move off this low here, indicating to me some kind of a flat here, ABC, that probably is ended or about to end. And then this whole pattern will break a massive neckline, and then maybe I'll need a bailout from Germany or something. God knows. So what it needs to have happen to change this bearish forecast is it's got to take out the B wave peak, and it needs to do that. If it takes out the B wave peak, well then that changes things a little bit in the shorter cycle, but I still think it ends up lower because of the lower low here. I do think it could pump a little bit more. Riot, as you can see here, Riot, our forecast marries up with crypto, where we have a connector, a 3-wave move with a connector that, you know, has it ended? Can it continue to pump more? The more it pumps, the higher the next target is. The only reason we're not calling it a low here is because Bitcoin, we're not calling a low yet. It trades with Bitcoin. It's naive to think this would go higher and Bitcoin would go lower. That would be pretty foolish forecast to think that. So we'll clean this up to get rid of all the subdivisions. They're not really important anymore. So we have this 1, 2 count here. And then we had this beautiful pump, which we pretty much played perfectly, our group, elite group. Now we pretty much called right around the right top. And now here was where the extension it failed. Very little loss here, but we tried to keep playing. It failed. So now it's in the bear market. But could this be the low? It's only the low if Bitcoin's bottomed. And we don't think Bitcoin's bottomed. This pump is too strong to be a 4 and a 5. So unlike Quantum, I wouldn't label it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we start to go lower, we're going to be in the next leg. And of course, the most important level to hold is right down here at this low. So it's probably going to come back somewhere down here. The bigger picture is we only have 3 up. That always means there's never a guarantee for 4s and 5s and impulses. So there is a super bearish possibility that it's just a corrective leg that ended, and we go to new lows. 2, we can't guarantee new all-time highs because it's only 3 up here. So looking at the bigger, the higher time frame, you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this would be 1, 2, 3 connector, and then another wave higher. That's what you're hoping to see. Breaking this, the sign that the whole thing will fall apart would be breaking this low right there. Okay, right there. And we would update the chart. HUT played out perfectly on the shorter time frames again for us in our group. We had buys here and here. We talked about this on our live stream constantly, guys. So anyone that listens to our live stream for free could have taken advantage of this. But now, as you can see, 5 are up, right? Let's just make sure there's no overlap here. We don't see any. This is a pure Elliott wave count, but we need to look at the RSI. There's your peak, there's your peak, there's your bearish divergence, there's your connector. Did it go deep enough? It did go to the 4. I'm not sure why this is so bullish right here when everything was so bearish, kind of. I don't know what HUT does. I don't know this company. I just know it comes up a lot on my feed. It did hit a buy area exactly and rallied, very bullish setup. There. Now let's look at the higher time frames. So if we put 2 here, 1, 2, maybe a 4, maybe that's a 4. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, I think that's kind of how I want to label that for now. And that's how we'll label it. Yeah, just kind of take another look at it. You know, we could be doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we label it. Yeah, I think I like that label better. I like that. I like labeling it that way better. I think it's cleaner. It's cleaner. Right, and then let's take a look here if that works. Let's see here. Make sure. What am I doing here? Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3. See, that's only. Yeah, I think this wave's kind of a mess. And you see how it's only in, it really is only in 3 waves and 3 waves down. So we got to be careful that it's just a corrective bounce. So let's go back into our original label. I think that was it. You're going to have to be careful. It's not going to do something like this. End on an impulse, which it has now. And then it's going all the way back down and break these lows. I don't think it will. A, B, C. So it would have to be. It's again. I'm just kind of thinking about the larger structure now that this has moved. Yeah, we have 5 up on the front end, with 3 down. Well, let's look at the divergence again on this. See the divergence there. Yeah, I would be really careful in this right now if this low breaks at 31.59. When you look at the higher time frame, we have divergence. It's only 3, it's 3, and it's another 3. We see this a lot, and then it generates an impulse up, which it's done and it's finished, which means if it doesn't extend, this whole cycle's over. The whole cycle's over. And that's what I'd be worried about. That's what I would be worried about. And if we did this, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So the only other way to do it is to just force it, ignore the divergence at the bottom like we had. Then you have 3 down with divergence. Just ignore it and just say, hey, it's finished, but it still doesn't get out the 3 and the 3 here. And then the whole pattern's done. The whole pattern's done. So I wish I wish it could, you know, I can explain it in a different way other than it could extend. It could extend from here. And it needs to take out this high. I see 3 waves down. And it's trying to figure out that next move. So I would wait. If once it breaks this high, then you know, okay, it's likely to extend. And that's fine. C can extend for as long as it can, you know, money comes in. There's no limit to how long it can go. If we break down and break down here, then it's likely to fall apart quickly, right? And the next level where it could find buyers is going to be down here or lower, breaking this, which would end the whole pattern, and that would be that big double correction, right? That would then it would resolve the bullish divergence issue. Boom, boom, boom. A quick low flash, like crash, and then that's good. It's done. So I don't know. I think that's kind of all I can say on that. D-Pro here did make a lower low, but it doesn't seem like it's a complete sequence. Let's look at the 4-hour. Recent divergence and bouncing. So this is a new connector here with a very shallow price action. So we have a 3-wave move that ended. Right, and this is likely to fail and make another low and find a bottom at 365 somewhere down here, and then it could go higher. The shorter time frame, I mean, we could be in a triangle here, an X, something like this. Could be that. Could also rally a little more and make a double an X, more conventional bounce, but I don't recommend trading it. I would I don't like trying to buy it here. I'd rather wait and buy it lower, given the big pump in 5 here that we had to endure and needs to probably resolve itself. AG looks like it's topped in 5 waves. Now, if we come back and take out this peak, 5 will extend, right? And then that can happen. Then likely a big correction is imminent. That's why you got to be careful chasing silver. People chasing silver thinking they're going to be rich. Yeah, they may be rich one day, but they may have to deal with more pain. There may be a better opportunity if you've missed these dip buys. All these colored boxes were areas where we brought out to buy it. Again, for elite members. Some of them were hit, some of them weren't hit. Okay, right now, though, I mean, we could have topped. I don't know how silver doing tonight. What's it doing tonight? Yeah, it's kind of nothing tonight. All right, I think there was a question tied to this one. Let's take a look here. I'll go to this... Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to try to go back. Switch again. Let's see. I lost my earlier feed when, for some reason, when the live stream glitched out. Okay, good. Now I can see everyone's older, the questions. So going back to Anonymous, you had some questions. RGTI, can you compare to qubits? Which one has the better long-term potential? From both of those, I would say they're both trading in the same. So they're essentially an identical trade. I mean, the chart's almost identical if I overlaid them. I mean, if I was looking at it from a chart perspective, I would always go with the one showing impulsive nature, and that's qubits here. And so I would probably lean that way. But they're both basically the same trade. But look for the one moving in 5 waves and not 3 waves. Then Riot, also, how do you see the long term playing out? Pretty good as long as we hold that low here. If that low breaks, this thing's in a lot of trouble long term. Long term, we talked about how's the long term. It has to take out this peak here. More importantly, that peak, if it can't do it, it will likely crash. But long term, since it shows 5 up, it should recover in the future. And crypto as well isn't going away forever. Crypto's coming back, guys. There's always that cycle, right? So this, even if this does this big crash, it should recover. That's what this chart says. It should recover eventually. But most people will give up on it by then. Then AG, long-term chart, how high can it go after silver spot price pulls back? So when silver pulls back, this should pull back to the wave 4 cluster. Typically we see around $9, $8, maybe as low as 7, but then that should set you up for the run to all-time highs here. So that should set you up for the run to retest this upper area, eventually breaking out of it, right? And you know, the extension here on this pump, when the final pump was almost 5 times the height of the wave 1. So we would expect it to go to maybe $150 when the cycle's finally over, years from now. Not tomorrow. So over $100 is the target. The major cycle, grand super cycle target. And to build wealth, it takes a long time. It takes patience and conviction and some luck a little bit, because not all these individual stocks make it in the end, even if a sector does well. So you have to just hope that AG is one of the winners in the future. They may mismanage their company and still fail. But the chart says that the next target after this correction is going to be 26. So if it pulls back to 8 and you buy it down here, you'll be playing to 26. FPI, let's take a look at Farmland Partners. Supposedly the ultra wealthy go to cash, farmland, water rights, volatility before economic crashes. Curious about these, if there's a potential playbook in the future. There definitely will be an agricultural cycle. That's what wheat and soybeans are telling us, and even energy. There's going to be a commodity cycle in the future. But right now, things are, potentially needing to correct. So FPI, this is a more conventional way to label the wave. We make one more high, peak, correct, then moon. The other count is a 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and we just go vertical from here. And literally buying it tonight would be your last chance to ever buy this at this price ever again, if that's the count. We just don't know. And that's what I'm saying. Energy and commodities is at a major inflection point. A huge decision in the next week or two is going to be made, whether we're going to get more of a consolidation and a deflationary scare type move, or it's going to break out, and then the politicians and everybody in Main Street, America, everyone is going to be shocked when inflation comes out of nowhere, roaring back. And then what are we going to do? And that would, of course, be higher long end rates and all the fun stuff that goes with that. Think of 2022 all over again, or post 2021. So we don't know, because energy has not made that decision. It's jammed up in a very critical and crucial moment. If we get this, the commodities are going to deflate and everything's going to correct. Some will rug pull. This will break down. Maybe it's like an inverted cup and handle. Boom, puke. Recession, scare. Oh my God, growth scare. Commodities, cool down. If this doesn't happen and we break out, well, we need to start. Then we have to have an adult conversation about energy, because that means either the major cycle's done early or we're in a bigger connector. Both are bad because one says it goes to 112, 116. The other one says it goes to levels that are unthinkable, over $200 at some point. So my point is we don't know yet about the farmlands and all the commodity, stuff yet. But this chart has a perma-bull interpretation that you need to keep an eye on. This is a very conventional way to label it, and then you pull back, and PHO, same thing, very conventional label. Now this 3 was almost the shortest. If this 3 was the shortest, we wouldn't label it this way. It would be a 1 2 1 2, and then of course this would top for another 2 and go. I'm labeling it conservative. If we still extend a little more in 5, then we would go with the more aggressive 1 2 1 2 1 2, and it's gone. So I think you're on to something with this whole farmland, water rights type thing. It's definitely something I'm sure people will want to be close to if the markets drop and if they're inflationary and both things happen. So I think that's kind of where we are with it. Okay, that's kind of where things are. Let's just kind of taking a look. So in 2022, it didn't really do that well, this water one. How did FPI do in 2022? This one, Moon, it went straight vertical. So farmland seems like it loves an inflationary, where energy runs environment. This FPI loves that. So, but the PHO didn't really see that dynamic. CBYX, you really can't analyze anything like this. But if you look, you have 1 2 3, and maybe you can 1 2 3 4 5. You really can't analyze it. I know people want to do that sometimes, but this one, I would say if I was, maybe just draw just a basic trend line. As long as you're on the left side of that, the trend is still higher, and then when you break the trend line, expect a big pullback. It doesn't. If that's the correction there, I don't see a 4 yet. So you would want to see a 4 and a 5. Then you'll know it's time's running out. GMEW was also kind of not a lot of data to work with, only showing 3 off the low. So again, it can go either way. If we make 5, of course it can do that and then have a big correction, or it can be a 1 2 1 2, or it can trade in a WXY structure as well and go down another swing here. So there's too many ways to label it, so we would recommend not trading that instrument. Our forecast on GME is one more low, so maybe something like this is how I would trade it. One more low, and then perhaps you can come out of that. So I would look for something like that to play out. I think you had a question as well with this. The warrants, do you expect it to continue act as a leverage play? I don't know the answer to that. The warrants may have more value and perhaps they increase in value rapidly compared to the company stock. I can't tell you that. I would just trade the chart, and this chart would tell you if this plays out, why would target $586 from 3. So this would double. This would double. And then, I don't know how far GME went up here. I know the price didn't double. So it's definitely looks like it's moving. It's like a call on GME. So yeah, it does look like that. And I think that's what I would. It seems like it does outperform when it pumps. All right, next is Indo, popular one with our group. Could be seeing a breakout here. If energy does decide to break out, this will obviously benefit. Big picture, we have potentially a bottom here. We have 5 up with a 1, maybe a 2 that finished. And if that's the case, we've been watching it come out of this wedge. It came out, it back tested the wedge, and now it's like, okay, let's get the separation and go. Maybe it'll benefit from a war in Venezuela. Maybe higher oil prices is what this is alluding to is coming, and it's just catching on early. That's the chart we'll go with. 1 2 1 2, and let's hope this this plays out for anyone who's still playing it. Now, if this fails, obviously it's a bounce, it's a connector for this whole wave, so it would obviously come back to retest 211, which you would want to have hold, or then it's potentially a go to zero stock. And right now, though, the structure, the bulls still have it. Okay, they have it like a 1 2, a 1 2, a 1 2, a lot of 1 2s. So I don't know. Maybe it's time. Maybe this is finally time for this thing. GDLC. Let's take a look as a kind of a crypto, and that's also looking at 5 up, a 1 2, 5 up, and again, I'm labeling it more conventional. I think if it nosedives from here, it would be a 5, and then we would rally and B, and then make another low later. Now, if Bitcoin could drive higher, go to 100,000 or something, then this structure will likely morph into something like this, and then come down like that. Okay, one way or the other, I think it comes back down to 25.83 if you're patient enough. I wouldn't be interested in trading this here. And I think the problem with crypto is people want to just keep trading it, and that's how you lose all your money in a bear market. Crypto is going to be one where you just got to kind of go trade another sector, go find something else and come back to it, 6 months, 8 months, because yes, there's going to be bounces, but this is probably in a longer, higher degree bear cycle, and you got to let this play out more. And I think it's going to be a lot of temptation to jump into connector way. Like, I think if you just watch the level, here's your level, and just keep out, just keep an eye on it, and let the people battle out. They'll tire themselves out, give up, lose all their money. At some point, we'll come back and buy it. That's how we bought Bitcoin down at 12, 13,000. That's how we keep buying it at these lower levels all the time. I mean, there's so many examples of our channel where we got crypto so low, and everyone who follows me knows that. It's because we don't trade this. We go to other sectors and look at it, and then we're like, okay, oh, crypto's in the bot. Let's go take a look at it, and then we jump in, and we're fresh and alert and ready to go. Everyone here has been beat up, devastated, have no more capital. So I think that's what crypto's about to do to a lot of people. So I would just say, I would look for this. This is the kind of more of a conventional, typical view. And if you're patient enough, I have a good feeling you'll get it right around here. PRPFX, again, another one that just you can't really do much with it, but I tried my best. Here, labeling it for you. Got some kind of 1 2 1 2 1 2. Big extension in 3, and now it's finishing up its third wave for a much bigger sell-off, but maybe one more high after that. And then once that comes, probably a huge crash. So something like this is what I'm thinking. Okay, probably all the easy money is over. It was a great ride. I mean, that decade of quantitative easing, money printing, so the social media, iPhone boom, all the great stuff. It was a great run. Now it's got to consolidate these gains and correct. And that's how it is. That's what happened down here, right? Down here and down here and down. And so you're going to do the same thing now. But the future will be okay. The future will be okay. It's just you're going to have to suffer through some pain. You're going to have to suffer through some pain in these kind of investment funds that have had these huge runs, right? BCHG is looking at something like this right now. So it's making a more elaborate connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be finished. Where do we see it going now? Again, we'll just kind of try to project a new target. Like 307, 268. Somewhere down here. Holding that low. That's the bullish setup. I think there was a question with this one too. Well, it's still going to the $3 range. I'm not sure. It just, see how the connector did a whipsaw? So this, see, this is giving people the illusion that it's a finish that's ready. Oh, we're going to be rich. You watch this rug pull. You just watch. See, this is the trap these things they play on traders. They play these traps on you. And a lot of people get fooled, get caught up, jammed up in that. So it's still going to go to $3. It just is tricking, and it's presenting it's enticing buyers in a way, dangling a carrot in front of you, like, let's eat that. Let's eat that right here. What happened? Because it even looks impulsive. See how it's such a treacherous structure, because it ends with an impulse. That's why these flat connectors are so horrible on traders and even Elliott wave people, because they're like, oh, it's 5 up, it's clear, let's just buy the dip. And then they get jammed up in this drop. So I do think it's coming down here. Okay, I don't think it's all clear yet. The question, GDLC, and again, yeah, I am feeling better. Appreciate that. Yeah, I had to get some medical stuff sorted out last week, which is good. Everything's okay with me. Any thoughts about ETF versus the Bitcoin buy? I think it's probably for diversification, it's always good, but Bitcoin is the king. So if Bitcoin goes down, the whole kingdom does. So if this ETF has other things besides Bitcoin, you're probably going to lose more and probably gain more. So it's probably like just playing a call on crypto, right? So it's going to have more juice in it. It's going to have more juice in it because it's going to be fed by other coins. But if Bitcoin goes down, it'll go down with everything will go down. There's very rare, like the only thing we've seen was, Zcash was going up and Bitcoin was going down. That's a rare thing. But now even Zcash has succumbed to the crypto, bear market. So I think it's just kind of a call on crypto itself and Bitcoin. So I think if you want something safer and you don't want then you go Bitcoin. And if you want more upside potential and more beta, I guess, you go with that ETF. This is an idea. So something like that, I guess, is my answer for that question. And LTCN, I had to update the chart. Unfortunately, there's just no more room left. It looks like we're going to break this low and extend the correction. So what happened here was a run-in flat connector that ended in 5. So we're going to call that in, and then 3 connector, and then another leg lower. And that's what almost all of crypto looks like. But how we trade this little area could be done. Could still chop around some more, but I would be patient and wait. The new target is now 379. And since it's trading in an X wave, it can even break these lows and still break these highs later. So it's an erratic type of instrument, which we've had a lot of success trading. Again, going all the way back from my founders that were around on June 23, we found the buy here. Again, by the way, guys, this is what I'm talking about, being patient. We waited for all these crashes to end. We were following these and we waited and waited and waited, and then we finally bottomed and we're like, hey, let's buy it. See, that's what I'm saying. If you're patient enough, these kind of setups will happen. And so you didn't need to catch the exact low, right? Oh, Elliott says your system sucks. You didn't get the exact low at $2. This is good enough because we had confirmation of the bottom. The cycle ended. Clearly, the cycle ended with the higher high, and then we just bought the dip. We didn't need to say, oh my God, and let's pray that was the low. We don't need, and our system doesn't work like that typically. So we're just going to wait and see how this plays out, and we'll go from there. Okay. But there it is. That's the new target. This Porsche is interesting here. Okay. Porsche is interesting to me. I'm going to show you something here real quick. Let me get rid of this. So Porsche has a higher high here. It has a crash correction, 5 up, came down, touched the 4 as you expected. Another surge, but the problem is only in 3 waves to me, and I think we're in. I was in a flat, but that flat could be a running flat. It could have ended. So this implies Porsche is ready for its next bull cycle. See how we're breaking out? We ended the whole cycle there. So I think that you have to trade it bullish above 28.77, and you have to let the market take that out. And if it does, then of course that's a dire situation, because if, let's say this rally fails, let's say we come up to $50, which is probably likely, and the rally fails, well then C extends lower. I mean, what's it going to do? Go bankrupt? So like there's no more room. Like there's no more room in the chart. So if this fails, then this is a corrective structure, you know, A, B, C. And then that means this is W, X, Y, A, B, C. That means we come back and break 13, and there's no more room, like on the chart left. So I don't know what that means. I mean, it's like game over. So you know, I think you have to go with the bullish interpretation, unless you believe it's going to go bankrupt. There's a reason it's going to go bankrupt. So I don't think that. So we just trade it bullish. I don't know. Maybe the tariffs will be negated and there'll be a big refund due Porsche. You know, they had to pay all those tariffs or something, and maybe that's going to help juice this company with a free windfall. I don't know. And maybe all of a sudden their prices can go down and people buy them again. I mean, I don't know why, or maybe everyone's just ultra wealthy. It's the haves and have-nots, and the haves are just going to be doing great. So I think that's what this chart is telling me, okay, right now. I have to go with the bullish interpretation. The bearish interpretation, I would be saying, yeah, it's going bankrupt, man. And I'm not ready to say that. PBB, not sure what this is, some kind of bank. 5 up, 3 down. It looks like to me you broke the low. So this is 3 and 3. So you're likely to make one more leg lower. And you have 3. So you're probably bouncing. So you probably have a bounce coming that's still developing. And then one more low. So something like that. All right, and I think I may have had a question tied to this one. I don't think, let me see, nope. All right, next, Zim. Zim was one we've been following since its existence. It's a very tempting stock with the dividends. I know it had paid, I don't know if it varies sometimes. It usually pays a pretty big dividend. What's the last dividend it paid out? 31 cents. It was pretty good. Not as good as I think it used to be, but it probably will get back to where it was. But anyway, this is our structure. We're just moving in 3 waves for now. And we see a lot of higher highs. So this should continue to have upside. We had this box for elite members here. Went pretty much vertical. Covered it multiple times. Covered it on this pullback on 2. For aggressive traders just to buy it, and it sure didn't disappoint. But now as good things come to an end, right? It's 5 up, so now it's going to want to correct, right? It's going to want to correct this leg here. So now the question is what degree we're in. So let me fix some of these lines up here. Get rid of that for now. Put that 3 there. So either we're at 3 and we'll correct this 4 and get 5 like that, and then a bigger pullback, or it's another 1-2. So I think we'll go with this for now. Something like that. And then another 1-2. and then you have the really big advance. All right, something like that. There was a question about Bitcoin. Bitcoin thoughts on, let's see here, Great Martis prediction. Yep, he's somebody I do follow. So guys, I had some questions about people I follow. I've seen that. The people I follow are people that I get information from to form my opinion of the market. I look at all viewpoints, perma bear and perma bullish, and balanced. Because a lot of traders are balanced, but some are skewed one way or the other. And I formulate and I use that as all this information. Someone's like, "Oh, who's your favorite one? Who's the one that who's your role model? All that shit." And I'm like, "Look, guys, if I follow them, I think they're good enough to listen to." So if they're on my X account, you can see who I follow. Just go on and see who I follow. I feel like they contribute effectively to understanding the market. But everybody has their strengths, right? And so I've learned to look at everyone's strength and understand it, but then filter out kind of the emotion that sometimes everyone, even I, may bring in. So that's what I do for my members, so you don't have to do that yourself. And some of these people will subscribe, and I do subscribe to them. They may not know I subscribe to them, but I do. And I listen. I listen and I take all the information in, because it's important to hear all the multiple viewpoints, different methodologies, different ideas, and different theories about the market, and put it together and then form the view, and then use your system to help understand it. That's what I do, and that's, I think, why we're really effective. That's how we find stocks way before anyone else. That's how we kind of predict a lot of the turns. And we do go against the grain sometimes. But right now, so his question is Bitcoin to 10,000. So 10,000 is more of that bearish forecast on Bitcoin that ends the grand super cycle on Bitcoin. Okay, is that path possible? Yes, I keep saying that. It is a possible path. How does that play out? Okay, so there's a lot of ways for it to play out. But to get to 10,000, we still got to cover a lot of ground. And there's not a lot of time to correct that deep. So we need to see a big decline quickly. So the longer we spend sideways, I think, means the less likely a 10,000 forecast is. But if this were to either truncate or finish up here and just crash, okay, we know we're going to bounce in this area. But if this happens, just like I'm showing, then this bounce could fail. It could fail. And then you're looking at the 10,000 Bitcoin. Okay? I can't say it won't happen. The more we spend around, the more X becomes elaborate. Like we can do this, right? We've talked about this possibility, right? We could do this. Boom, boom, boom. The more, do that. The more we do crap like that, or even more complex, the more we do that, the less likely that becomes, in my opinion. Because then it kills time. It gets rid of sellers. It holds the price up. Yes, there'll be a capitulation wave, but I think it helps. But if this happens, I would be really worried, honestly. It would feel good, but I think then I would be concerned with this type of dramatic decline, because then there's something really fundamentally broken with the structure of the crypto market that maybe is not fully understood. Something that will emerge eventually would be understood. We will emerge, but we won't, because because think about it, how bullish, how the market was supported. You have all this government support, all this, and then to just have it just collapse like instantly, to go from 120,000 down to 44,000 in a period of a few months. There is something way worse going on underneath the hood of the other. We don't know yet. The news has not emerged yet. Why? And when that does, that's going to create the fear to drive it lower. That's what I think. So we have to be careful, but we still want to buy it because it is a good bounce. It's a good trade. It's way oversold. We do it, and it could be the low. But I think the 10,000 path is likely, potentially more likely if it's this. The erratic nature. Now the other possibility is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and we hit like 77, 76,000, that would be A, B, and C. If we do that, I think the path to 10,000 is less likely. Okay. The other thing to think about is if we do go to 10,000, that means probably the grand super cycle has ended in the indices, and you're looking at a major stock market crash. That's also what I'm thinking. So you've got that to look forward to as well. So the question is, yes, it's possible. Sure is. It sure is. So that's why I'm hope people are paying attention to what's going on in the market. But that's not our primary forecast. It's a 1-2, 1-2. That's the forecast. I can make this 5 waves. We've talked about this before. I think if I do this on the fly right, I make this 5 waves by doing if I remember the count off the top of my head how we want to do it, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and this whole thing is a 5. That would bring you back down to the 10,000 level. Okay, so that's the count. That would be the count for that. This would be a blow off wave 5, and this would be your 4, and then this would be your 2. All right. Going back to where we were, TE. So TE was another one we got right on our live stream for everybody. And it definitely played out as expected. We see this 5 up. Shorter cycle. So it's, again, dangerous to chase at this point. And a bigger pullback likely back down to 241 at some point in the future. It looks like it's still in wave 3 of 5. So maybe still more upside, but then a much bigger pullback should be coming. But with 5 off the low, we would expect it to continue to extend in the future. This would be the count. And that's TE. And I think there was a question with TE. If I go back, see if I can find it. Yeah, there was a bunch of questions here from Lucas. Please review T1 Energy. What would the entry points be? Yep, it's definitely, in my opinion, I can be wrong. It's too late. You missed the move. You missed the move. When I covered it back here was the time to buy it, or here. Unfortunately, it's too late. What you need to do is wait for 2. The ideal level to buy it again is right here. I'll drop. We'll come back to this chart. We'll see right there. 234. That's the ideal level. So you're going to have to wait. So this is how it happens. You missed the move. You missed the move. Now you're like, well, what if it doesn't happen and just goes straight up? Well, that can happen. But what if it doesn't? Then you're going to lose more than 50% of all your money. Now you may be cool with that. Hey, if you are, then chase it. Go for it. Go for it. Because it is showing 5 up. So it probably will hold if you don't mind watching your account balance drain down. Eventually it will come out. So it depends, again, on your strategy and your risk tolerance and all that. But that's kind of the my idea on that. So you had a few more questions. Can you review how you draw the box levels and what point you retrace to in Dragon? Is always on the connector. Well, the box is always equal legs on the A and B, or W and X, W and Y. So like here's an example on this one. Okay, so what we try to do is find the 3 waves. You put, so this one has lower lows and an expanding triangle. So I'll just kind of stick the box kind of there on a majority of the wicks. So there it is. And then I just project the same length down. And then what do you know? That's where the buy was, and vertical. See how the system works? It's not magic. It's because the computers are programmed to do that. And computers are how the market operates. So it's not some magic secret. It's just how the market is designed. And it just seems to work too often than not to be random chance. So anyway, that's that. And then RPAR is an ETF that is similar to in TradingView. Does not hover the charts. I think we covered that already. Then if you have some time, can you review Samuel Benner's chart, periods when you make money chart, Benner cycles? that it points to from a cycle low, uh, 2006 to 2032, there'll be a downtrend. So that's the end of the grand super cycle chart, right? That would be a bear market. So that's the type of bear market we get. I mean, that would be the kind of the Great Depression type of bear market. That would be the everything crashes in 3 waves down type of bear market. I don't think it would go on that long though, but it could, I guess. I think the other bear market that's more likely, if the grand super cycle ended, is a sideways bear market like 1970s. And I think, I'll call it the great rotate. It'll be a great rotation. I think people will like panic into energy, then panic out of energy back into tech, and then panic back out of tech into something else. And you'll see these wild swings, but on the indices will trade, super erratic and violent. SPY will go from 690 down to 480, then back up to 690. It'll be just so erratic, and just the volatility would be crazy, and it'll be like years and years and years and years of that. Just like the 70s saw 15 years, from 65 to 82 of that. So like you could see that as the new environment for the potentially the rest of your adult life or life, depending on how old you are. I mean, so that's the type of bear market I think we're going to get based on the charts I'm seeing, because a lot of sectors are out of sync that don't support everything just crashes in a massive super duper crash, right? They're not. We need more stocks to pump sectors. We need miners and metals and energy. We need those pumped. We need the Cleveland Cliffs in triple digits again. We need FCX pumped. We need copper at $25. We need these. When all that is happened, then I would be, if that was the backdrop, then I would be like, oh my gosh, guys, we got a massive crowd. I mean, we're gonna have something horrible like 2009 again, or worse, 2008. Then looks like you took off boxes for entry. How low? So I showed you the level on TE, and please review the monthly and weekly charts for TE too. Okay, we can look at those. So the monthly shows that divergence. That indicates it's a 5th wave. That's how we confirm it's a 5th wave. If we didn't have that, we would be predicting an extension, and this wouldn't happen. The problem is, guys that do Elliott waves, they try to outsmart the market, and they're like, oh, it's a 5. I'm going to short it here. I'm so smart. I'm going to put in a max short and play and make easy money. And then the market blows up and it extends, and this becomes a 1-2, 1-2, and they shorted at the most foolish moment on a 3 of 3 breakout. So we never do that. We never trade the count, because divergence can be erased. This divergence can be erased. You understand that? That can be erased. If that erases, there's no 2 coming. There's no 2 coming. It means it's going up to probably $9.88, $10. Now, one of the things I look at is see how pushed down the stochastic RSI is, and it's crossing over. So it's already oversold so significantly. I find that very fascinating that it's so corrected here. So this could be a 2. This could be a 2. I can't tell you how to trade this, how aggressive you want to be, how if you want to gamble. But I have to just trade what's in front of our faces, and this is what's in front of our face right now. And then the monthly cycle showing a breakout momentum divergence, taking this out, strong momentum. But as you can see how it's pretty overbought here on the cycle, and this needs to cool off. So that's the cool off. This is the monthly cycle cool off, right? The weekly cycle looks promising, but sometimes you see how it crossed over here and then boom, it nosedived. So it could probably do the same thing. So that's why we just don't trade that. So this is still a primary forecast, okay? That's what I saw from those. All right, the next set of questions, let's see here. Next set. Did I skip over some? MVA? Not sure. Oh, MVA, that was yours. Yep. Let's go back to MVA, New Vista Energy. This one looks pretty bullish. So this one I am labeling in the super 121212. It looks like it's, you see all that, a lot of upside ahead of it. Again, I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go time the mark. Like, this is one you just kind of get a dip and you just enjoy the ride for years of gains. Now, shorter cycle weekly is showing a 3. It's in a 3. And then monthly, see that divergence? So that divergence indicates to me we haven't seen the 3 of 3 yet, or it's a flat here. Now, there's always a bearish interpretation, so there is a possible path, right, that it's a this. So this is also how chasers are punished, that. So you want to stay alert for that. Now, that typically doesn't happen if it extends, the B wave extends beyond the 1618, which it did. But there's no rule that says it has, that's no rule. It's just like from experience. So that's why I'm not labeling it as a flat. If it does do a flat, just thank the trading gods to give you a great entry. Because you probably missed, if you missed a move, you can come back in and get it at $8. But if not, somehow you have to just be praying for a dip to get to join the trend. QCLS, kind of a go to zero stock. Again, don't recommend trading it, but it does look like it needs more upside to finish this impulse. So probably get to 894, something like that. It's 3, 3, 5, and then meltdown, right? So, but it doesn't look like it needs a 5, right? This has to be an impulse on C. Devon, we're calling a breakout. So the higher high has now confirmed it. If this is 5, we should pull back. Maybe back test the downtrend line at 34.20. 34.20. And could be breaking out. Now, the problem I have is this bottom. This bottom is very unorthodox. I may, as we come out of this, come back and just call the low end. I haven't decided. I would be forced an account. Maybe I would call it a triple WXYXZ. But until then, we're just going to assume C is going to keep extending. So we trade it as a bull market. We have to trade it as a bull market. The bearish interpretation of this would be we erase divergence here, either by 3 up or we just surge a little bit to negate the 5, and then we make a flat here and we come back down to 29. But I think it's pretty clear to me it wants to break out now. So now it's probably safer, right? Here it's like risky to buy, risky. Hey, if we get this pullback, it may be safe. 34.44. Okay, well, you didn't get it at 27, but I think if that's the low and it's trading at $100, you're not going to really care whether you got it at 34 or got it at 27. But buying it here, you have a lot more confidence that the correction's probably over, right? And here you were like, I don't know. I mean, damn, I'm going to wait. So, like, that's kind of what I see. Now, the next time we need to worry about this is when this impulse finishes. So maybe it can come back up to 52, and then we can look at it a second time. All right, XOM. You know, I want, again, this, if we take out 121, it's go time. Energy's breaking out. Right now we're labeling it as a run-in flat in 2, 5 up, and another flat back down to 103.24 down here, and that could be your last chance. Now the other count in XOM is it's a much larger flat off of this peak, and we have 5 down, and then this is 3 up, and then it crashes down to 81. Either way, years of gains ahead of it. Years and years of gains. But will it find support here or here? Tough. This was a very shallow correction. We didn't even come close to the wave 4 cluster. Here's the wave 4 cluster, 72. So in the back of your mind, if energy is going to rug pull, maybe we will get the bigger flat. Okay. So, but that's okay. That's okay because that would be an opportunity worth getting, because that would be great for the upside potential. So I think you have to, kind of look at it. So right now we'll just wait. Again, energy's at an inflection point. Is it going to do this and out? Is it going to crash? Or will it just run? And just, it's too late. The producers are telling you it's bottomed. ATI. ATI here, showing a massive 1, 2. And then I'm showing a fifth wave extension for now. So maybe 3, one more high for 3, so something like this. So probably more upside. I think we had some divergences here finally playing out. Now, if we erase divergence, so we could, this was one I was torn about. This, if we erase divergence, then this would be another 1, 2. We'd have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then there would be no 5. So obviously, this is one that you're holding for the long term. Again, breaking a high that's stood time since 2007. This would allow it to make a cup and handle if it's 5, right? Cup, handle, out. We'll see where it goes. But obviously it seems like it's making a big recovery. Minerals, metals. So if it's metals and we think silver's top, so maybe it's a 5. So I would assume 5 for now. Okay. So that's everything. That's all the stocks I was able to look at ahead of time. So now we can kind of do everything else in real time here and take a look at what people have got going on and go from there. Let's take a look at ZVIA. Ziva PBC. All right, so I would probably do something like that. So this is what we're looking at. So it looks like we've been looking at this before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. We'll have to check out the subdivisions. Yeah, so that's probably ready for its third wave down at some point. And that's it. So I would be looking for, now this too can still pump and squeeze people out, but as long as you're below 371, I would be looking for the final leg lower in this. And if I remember right, the reason we think this will fail is the lower low. Okay, something like that. And you had a question on that. Can it make a round trip to its all-time high? Well, we know stocks that go to zero may never, they can go bankrupt. And I talk about one that I personally knew and I traded was Chesapeake Energy. It was a stock that seemed like it had eventually would find its footing. Energy would eventually not go to zero, right? But eventually it just went bankrupt and equity holders lost everything. So the problem is, and then it relaunched itself, and of course it surged after it did that, after it cleared out all its debt and restructured its corporation. But the equity holders lost everything. So the problem with ZVA is it could go out of existence. You want, now I can't promise you it won't. If it does, it does. You'll lose all your money. That's part of the stock market, and the fundamentals do come back to haunt the technical investor. If this does find a low, then yes, you would look at it taking out this peak. So, but the market thinks it's going bankrupt. So I don't know what it does or why people don't want to buy it, but maybe you buy their product, but I guess the stock, maybe the CEO sucks. I don't know. They don't know how to make money, or is there something wrong there's something wrong here, right? There's something wrong. The only way to fix this is to get the price above 377. If it can't, it's reverse split hell, nightmare. But it could be saved. It really could be. We don't know. We've seen these before, but it could bottom on Y. So we'll keep an eye on it. STM. All right. Let's take a look here. Looks like it made a flat here. and it drove down in a flat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, one more low. So it didn't give us the more conventional count. It was a flat off of this this peak. But let's take another look at it. Yeah, that's what it is. So we'll have to just call that a flat off of that peak. That's the problem sometimes is if you're not glued to your screen, you don't see the flat. So when you saw that first drop, that was your clue as a flat, and then to get out of the trade if you were long. And we watch that for our members on a lot of our stocks. Once we see like a sign like that, we're like, if we're thinking it's like a 1, 2, and then we see a sharp drop, we are like, okay, flat, get out now, because that's how flats are born. They start out with like a quick crash. You don't get a fifth wave. Now the question is a flat over or not? It might be with that bullish divergence, so it's probably done. Right? 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the 4s are right there, so something like that. And then you have 3 down here. So I would go with this count. Let's get rid of that line. I would go with that count for now. Okay. Then APLD. Apply digital. Man, that thing really pumps. And why? I mean, damn. So we'll just have to call like bull cycle from the low, you know, because it's that history isn't going to help us. Let's look at the monthly. See that divergence? So it is moving in an impulse off the first leg. So we'll just call it like an A, a B, and some kind of C. So we'll label it as an impulse. Right, it's probably something like that. That's what I'm willing to bet. And then this C is in 3 and 3 and then 3. So probably more upside. Maybe it can hit like 50 bucks. It can always keep extending. C can just keep going and going, but it is only, I think the subdivisions are only in 3, so it implies that it will end on this 5 when it's over. So I would be looking for something like that. And then on the NYSE. Okay. Oh, on the NYSE. Did I do the right one? APLD on the NYSE. Only see it on the NASDAQ. But whatever. All right. Is it a good time to short SMH? We never like to short wave 5s, and I explained that earlier because the market can keep extending. A lot of bears learn that the hard way, trying to call the peak on a 5th wave. Now, if you want to short, again, if you believe in, now here's my chart. If you want to trade the count, and sometimes we've traded the count like this. We did this on Tesla back in 22, you know, whenever it was crashing. Like short it right now. But then if it breaks 368, close it. Get out, because then it's likely to take out the all-time peak, or maybe use the all-time peak as your stop there, and then you just trade it, because the chances of it gapping up on an ETF this big is almost slim to none, right? But I guess it could gap up, but I think you could try to play that. I mean, I won't stop you from doing it. You do have a lower low sequence. I mean, go, you know, if you want to do it, go for it. If you can assume that risk, the target would be, again, you wouldn't want to stay in it short because we're still showing it bullish. Target would be 311, 297. Okay, so this would be the target area right around here. So that's what you're playing for if you're trying to short it, right? If you're trying to short it. So yeah, I mean, there is a setup. because you know maybe the risk is you know low enough that hey, let's give it a shot, see what happens. All right. Adobe. Okay, Adobe's got earnings, and I hate playing earnings when it's in this kind of setup because we could have a big move to the downside to close the gap to get to the final target at 193. The other possible path is we're going to correct this cycle, this 5 waves. So right now we're showing 5 waves down. We could correct something like that and then get the next leg lower after. So earnings could see a big move up and down. So it's too tough to call. But when I look at the weekly cycle, I mean, it looks like to me, again, if I draw the line, we're breaking out and we're curling up. It looks like to me it wants to bounce for more than, you know, a day or two. The monthly also, I mean, the month is so oversold, but it's not, I don't think it's the low. So I think if you're a bear, you got to be super careful for a counter trend rally. I mean, how much more? Is there enough sellers left in the market to crash it here? Again, with the lower low. But I wonder if they need to trap more buyers to get it back down here. So I think, you know, if you want my honest, my opinion here, I think you're going to get something like this. And then it's going to resume the correction. All right. Earnings is a complete YOLO type play, right? If you do it, because it's literally the perfect opportunity to destroy the short trade, but also just get to the target and end it. So it's like it's in a very maybe straddle or something. All right. And then APLD, I think we may have looked at that already. Or maybe we didn't. Yeah, we looked at that already. So one more high for now. And then, sorry, my bad. I was looking at the wrong comment. Cake. How's this one doing? We haven't looked at this in a long time. Food stock, not labeled anymore. So you got your 3, you got your 3. You have higher lows. One, you would think it's like a 1 2 1 2. Correcting that whole leg. This is just 3 waves up. It's probably a flat off of this peak. Something like that. That's probably what's happening. And then we're going to probably take out these lows soon. So you already see it entered. See that? That's the monthly cycle. That's a bear market. A bear market is born. A C leg is born. So this is going lower, man. I think this count, let's just do the count. Obviously, that's a 1 2. Let's take a look here. So that's like 1 2 3 4 3, you know, maybe 4 and 5 like that. And then put that 3 there, F4 there, F5 there. And that works perfectly. So that's the count on Cheesecake Factory. Could be a run-in flat, so it does not have to come all the way down as I show it. It just needs to finish an impulsive wave down and take out those that RSI at the bottom I showed you. It looks like you're in some kind of 1 2 1 2 count. Yeah, I have been eating there. You know, I have been eating there. So I mean, it seemed pretty busy when I went there, but who knows how? Again, who knows? Maybe just they're not making as much money. I don't know. So I'd be looking for something like that. Okay. And then when that finishes, it's a major low. Because look at the higher high. So it'll come out of it. But what a nasty top. See, this goes to show you, look at the top. It essentially has been in a top-in process since 2017. Right? So you bought it at $3, and then if you didn't get out here, you pretty much have done nothing. So this is why you have to, like, you know, just walk away at some point. Take your money. You're stuck in this. So I think it's something like that for right now. I need to add that. I wonder if I have that on my directory of stocks here. I do. Consumer discretionary. All right. ELF. All right, ELF looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that 4 is probably finished. So something like that. That 4 is probably finished. Looking at it. There's your connector. Let's check it out though, the divergences on the 4-hour. Yeah. There's your connector. So it's probably finished there. Again, look, just again looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and then you just kind of finish it up. And then PayPal. Yeah, how's that one been doing? That was a tough one to analyze. We were kind of having some trouble looking at that. All right, so it has been playing out as expected. I think we were up here and we called that, so that was the right call, and that will be a head and shoulders continuation pattern lower, and that will break and create the capitulation wave, and then it'll be a really good opportunity to go long. Again, patiently waiting for years for this thing. And why did this happen? If this happens, is the lower low came back to destroy the stock. The lower low is a curse to the stock, to the bull market. Even though it generated almost a year of upside, it haunts the stock, and it brings it back to where it should have never have been. Like, it should come back here, and that's where it's going. All right, run. Sunrun. Solar, we saw the tan ready to break out potentially for its next leg higher. So this double correction may not happen. So you see the chart. Okay. So you got to decide what, again, do you want the super duper perfect entry or not? And that's what this is. So the perfect entry is right here, 1442, right in this area. But we saw in the tan, the solar ETF, it may be finished. And if energy's not going to pull back and break out, this isn't coming down. It's going higher. So I think there's no update on this other than we need to keep a close eye on it, and maybe watch the sector ETF for the clue. Maybe that breaks. If we see the sector ETF break out and this hasn't, then that's a sign that this is about to do that, and that you can take advantage of that. USAR was another one we got right on our live stream. I think the day we saw that turn, the cycle end, and I said down here at $12, I think it was around 12.82. It's like, you got to go long and just put your stop here, because this cycle is over, and since it's over, you're likely to go higher, because if it doesn't, it's going to go out of business. And does that make any fundamental sense to you? Hell no. So of course it's a punt from here. So again, this was another one that we did well in, and we can just try to label it the best we can. So probably wants to finish up this impulse and then have another big shakeout. And looking at some kind of inverse head and shoulders. Look for that right shoulder, and then hopefully it goes. But with this, we've seen before, it just sometimes can pump, right? When the right news hits. You know, happy talk with China disappears, and then all of a sudden everyone's worried about these again. All right. And then SLS. Oh man, let's see here. Looks like it, that one looks like it did complete 5 here. So this one kind of played out as a plan, and now it came back. This is the ideal area. So this is probably done. I don't think it would do a double, but again, you can't rule it out. We only see 3. So it could do a double. It obviously hit the perfect buy area. Right, look, perfect. That's your buy area. Hit perfectly vertical. So now the market needs to give you some follow through. So if it doesn't, it will double correct, right? So you want to see the impulse higher. If we break this low, well, it's going to double correct, and we'd have to look at a new target, right? $0.77 back here. So that would be pretty tough on investors, but it can do that. So so right now it's we'll see where it goes. I mean, obviously, if we saw the XBI and some of the other, I'd be, you know, you may want to be concerned of a double correction. Okay, just looking at the sector. So I would be concerned of a double correction. So just don't let that surprise you if it happens. But it doesn't have to. But I wouldn't. If it does, that's the target, and it will create a great opportunity for anyone who's patient enough and gets that. If not, it's done, and it's just going to keep running. Okay. This one I want to keep an eye on. All right. Then FMST. Foremost Clean Energy. Okay, it's a new one. It's a new one here. Pretty much like a go to zero. I mean, it looks like we held that low. That's interesting. Held the low. Looks like 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the divergence. So it looks like an impulse with a blow off top 5, and then damn, what do these guys do? Let's get up. Yeah, this one's really interesting. Yeah, it's another impulse off the low here. 3, 3, 3. But I don't know if that's a deep enough pullback. See, that's almost too truncated. Although you erase divergence, we have to call the low in, man. So we'll call the low in. We have a higher high on the shorter cycle, so I think we'll stick with the bullish interpretation of it. What do these guys do? Uranium and lithium exploration. Oh, so the uranium and the lithium. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We wouldn't know that from their name, but okay, I guess they're uranium and lithium. Well, we know that's a hot sector. So that's what this is telling us. It's a hot sector. Lithium is probably tied to energy. Maybe that's the clean energy side of it. All right. FGL. Founder Group Limited. Now this one is not as good looking. Although you erase divergence there and there. So we can call that a completed 3 swing move here off of that low. and see what it's trying to do. It doesn't look that healthy of a balance. Let's see here. We do have divergence off of this peak, but we have to be careful. Let's see if we see impulses in these legs. We don't. We don't. So we need, this one I would be a little more careful with, because you could have this A, B, C, and or even here. 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then another leg lower. That's what I bet is happening here. That's what I bet's happening. And then this is a triangle. Maybe it can go a little higher here, maybe up to 40 cents or something. And then another shakeout leg. And then it could find a low and really pump. So this one maybe we keep an eye on for the future. Yeah, we can even get a target on that. 19 cents. So that's the target right here. Let's see if we can get there. Okay, so that's the target. We'll see if we can get there, and keep an eye on that. Something like that is what I'm thinking. Okay. Then Alwyn, Lumen, how's that one doing? All right, so we see this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it's some kind of 3-swing move. We called it off of here an ABC connector. Let's just validate a couple things. So we do love the higher high. We do love the flat. This is a great structure to eventually come out of. Here we do. I guess maybe we should put the bottom here. Yeah, let's just make it a little more conventional. But does it have to do the double? Well, we need to see an impulse. We need to, is this an impulse or not? So we need to really take a look at that and make sure if that's an impulse. You see, there's a little divergence there. See, if I put the W here, then an impulse is expected and still bearish. Still bearish. So, and when I look at this count, that RSI, so this is the 3-swing move. Boom, 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 down, down, down. Yeah, you know, I still think it's this. So I still think this is the count. One more low, and then let's see if we can find a target. Maybe 673, 584 in that area. Taking out that peak. So somewhere right around there. You have some chart support right around $6 area. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. Okay. And pull back. So this would be an area to load up. Now the other way to target this is to do a full extension. And that's 518, right? So that's a bigger area, right? So we don't want to, you know, like, oh, should I just draw a huge box? I could, and that's what you could think about. The reason I draw it more shallow is typically when we see a flat connector, it makes a shallow 236 extension dip. It doesn't usually make the full leg, usually. So if you're going to load up, you need to also be in mind that there's possibility it does do the full leg. If it does, it'll go deeper. But I do think it comes out of this. All right. And then Amcor has been going pretty well for us. All right. We had the elite member buy area and then vertical. And we should be making this 5th wave this week. And you would expect a pullback to correct this big pump. Now the question is, would this be 3? And you get 4 and 5, like that. But there was also a very bearish interpretation of this chart. This is the market's going to crash in December chart, okay? A, B, C. And this is a flat. 1, 2, 3. So we'll know in the next, we'll know this week if that's the case, because once we finish this 5, if it's a flat, there'll be a massive dump. Like, remember, we won't get a small point. It'll be like a big candle, like back down to 30, a huge candle. Then we know it's a flat, okay? And then we'll update the forecast. But I think for right now, we'll just assume it's bullish until, until otherwise proven. Right? And of course, the bigger picture, we've always liked Amcor because, again, 2000, it's likely to come out, make a massive cup and handle and huge run in the future. Okay? So we've always kept an eye on that one. TSLL. Well, we know Tesla's in a box, and Tesla's, Tesla was in a box, and it's on the verge of potentially breaking out. The market makers desperately need that. Well, as you can see, it hit our box here. So there's our count on Tesla, right? So this is telling you Tesla is breaking out to new all-time highs. If we do not, this will double correct, okay? But the problem is, well, maybe we can go deeper. Let's just kind of step back and look. Again, I look at this as from a 3-wave point of view. 1, 2, so let's label it the whole thing. Yeah. Something like that. And then, so W, X, yeah, this has to hold. Okay. If this doesn't hold, well, then you're still in X. Right now we're calling X done, like that. But if it's not, if we break that, then we're still in this X. And then you have 3, 3, and then 3. So the next area, if Tesla rug pulls, this would crash, and you'd come back down to probably down here. And it could stay erratic, and it could do a lot of things in this X wave. X waves are notoriously erratic. So we would just trade it in 3 waves. So if this fails, this is the next area to buy it. But like I said, Tesla could be, it's on the verge of breaking out to new all-time highs. It's one of the only few big cap tech stocks that show it could become leadership and bring the indices to promised land if others follow suit. If not, it's going to have an epic rug pull like this week, epic. And that's what this is implying could happen. So place your bets. I guess place your bets. We don't have a clear, the time to buy it was in this box. That way you have some room to kind of see it play out. If you're here, no position, you're kind of guessing. You're kind of guessing. So I think we just have to just let this play out and see where it goes. All right, Baba unfortunately did a bigger. We had an unusual structure, but it's still a nice bullish structure. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still a big leading diagonal off the lows. Typically, we lose the whole 5. I wouldn't be surprised if this eventually comes back down to 96. It won't be a straight line. I definitely think this could have a double correction potential. This looks like a triangle in X that's going to fail pretty soon. Next area to buy it would be right around, safe area, right around this 118, 108, this box. This is probably the final low when we get down here. And since it's 5 off the low, we would expect it to continue higher. So like 1, 2, and then out you go. All right, something like that. It's a pretty shallow connector. I was expecting a bigger bounce, but we're just not seeing it. And we're not really seeing that in Baidu either. FUTU. All right, let's take a look here. Again, showing 5 up in a flat connector. This looks too shallow, so it looks like it'd go deeper. Something like that. That's just too shallow. Now I guess it can be that shallow. You erase divergence there. But the weekly should correct more. So I think it's going to go deeper. Okay, and normally you lose more of the fifth wave than this. So I would be looking for a deeper pullback before it can break out. And that would form that cup you're looking for. And then GDX was one that we were looking for fifth wave to finish, I think. Let's see here. So we have this fifth wave. Now we didn't break the high. So here's the situation with it. 5 can extend a little more. Make that a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and just finish up. And then put that 3 in. The other path is it's a little more bullish labeling, and I label it as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we still go higher, right? The other path is potentially we're still in 4. And we made a flat connector like this where it bottomed here, something like this, and did that, and this was a WXY, and we crashed back down, essentially back down to 67. I wouldn't be surprised we do that. If we look at the wave 2, it's paired against. This was October 22nd, and it bottomed December 27th. 2 months to correct. It peaked here October 16th, right? You'd think it would bottom the same time, end of December. So we're a couple weeks early. So it could need a few more weeks, and that may give it enough time to do the rug pull for one last shakeout in 4. Something like that. So I'm torn between this being my primary account or an extension. I think with gold, if gold has hit a peak and will make that next leg lower, this is likely to go with it. So I think you have to be careful here. And this really does match the gold count very nicely. Because if we drop, right, because the gold count, right, if the gold count drops, then you make 5, right? But that 5 is only 3. And you still have a 4 and a 5. So it's like perfectly in sync with the GDX. So if this happens with gold, then the GDX is likely to go back to like that 64 level. If this breaks out, then obviously the GDX is probably going to break out with it. And the fifth wave will extend or turn into something more bullish. Okay. Tilray. What's that one been up to? Been devastating. Looks like C. Damn, it's still dropping. It definitely has a lot. It has a lot of opportunity to go lower, but we'll just have to keep the count going with the count. So 1, 2, that's not enough separation for 3. So we probably have another 1, 2. So I would expect more downside. It's got to finish this impulse. And obviously it has a lot, like it just has to stay above this level here, 353. So what a crazy dump. So something like that. Now, someone could say, oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one more low. But that would be below that peak. So this is the right count for now. All right. So that's the end of the live stream. Looks like I've covered everyone's questions. I'll just kind of scan back through people's comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. And thanks again for calling in. We can kind of look at where we are tonight here, just kind of recap. Futures are, kind of looking for direction. Expect no move until the Fed meeting unless something really crazy happens. Bitcoin erratic as usual. Look, boom, boom. It's just no one knows what to do here. The best thing to do is probably not trade Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. Then just kind of looking through the market. Anything really moving? Natural gas is down. How's yen is strengthening. Dollar index, rates, volatility, futures, a little green, nothing. So it's pretty much a sleepy night. Nothing going on. Well, anyway, guys, good night. If you're on the, on East Coast or whatever, good night. And then if you're on, in Asia, good morning. And but anyway, guys, I'll see where we go tomorrow. I think this is a week. The bears have to step up. I think the bulls will want to pump big cap tech. They're going to do everything they can to get Nvidia and AMD back on track again. Get the semis, get them going, jumpstart, get them back to life, resurrect them. If they can't, I don't see how the market can make a meaningful extension and where people can confidently say, yeah, April lows have corrected and we're going to a bit below off top and it's party in 2026. That I think we need that's the issue. So the bulls are going to want to do everything they can to pump big cap tech and get, because big cap tech looks like it's on the verge of breaking down, right? So they're going to do everything they can to pump big cap tech this week. That's what I think. We do have some earnings coming out that's interesting. Broadcom I think this week, and got Adobe's interesting to me, and then also the Fed meeting. So that's the known events. We have this war in Venezuela that may start at any second. That's another event that's been noise out there. You have the Epstein files that could drop at any moment. You have the Supreme Court could overrule the tariffs at any second. That could come out. So you have all these major volatility like things that can happen that could be very unpredictable. And the VIX is super duper oversold on the 4-hour and daily cycle. It's primed for like a spike. A surprise like, whoa, whole crap. So that's where the market is. All right, guys, good night. That's all I've got, and we'll see what happens.